Hello, my name is Brian Thomas, and I haven't posted on my YouTube channel in a little while, so I thought, what's something I could post on this channel that I haven't tried before? Because I tried to get famous and that didn't really work. So today, I'm going to be starting a podcast. Yes, you heard that right, a podcast. And I don't know what I'm really going to talk about. I don't even know what the name of the podcast is going to be called yet, but I got a couple things I might want to talk about. Let's see how far we get. Alright, so let's see what's on my list. Well, first I want to talk about the Monday night primetime game, which was between the 49ers and the Rams. Pretty good game for a Monday night football game. The 49ers end up getting some revenge on the Rams for beating them in the NFC Championship game from last year. You could tell, I mean, while watching the game, you could tell very, very emotional. A lot of those players are playing very emotionally, or they had a lot of emotion on their face, especially on the 49ers side. Yeah, Jimmy Garoppolo ended up completing 16 passes on 27 attempts for 239 yards, 1 touchdown. Not bad for Jimmy G. Jeffrey Wilson had a breakout game, having 18 carries for 74 yards and a touchdown. Deebo Samuel also having an amazing game with 6 receptions and 2 carries, with 1 touchdown and 117 total yards from scrimmage. Brandon Ayuk had some pretty good catches. George Kittle was a little quiet, but hey, they got the win. The big thing about this game was their defense. Their defense played amazing this game. Did not allow the Rams to score a touchdown whatsoever. Very good game from the 49ers all around. But hopefully they can keep up this pace going into a pretty tough next couple weeks. For the Rams, I can't really say they had such a great game. Obviously, you have Matthew Stafford not playing the best, throwing for 254 yards and 32 completions on 48 attempts with 1 interception. Darrell Henderson and Cam Akers splitting carries, only combining for about 40 yards is definitely not the best. Cooper Kupp having about 14 receptions, 125 yards. Definitely not a bad game from him. Tyler Higbee getting a lot of receptions, getting 10 receptions for 75 yards. Definitely not bad at all. One person they need to really need to have more consistent and showing more consistency and progress in that offense is Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson for the past 4 weeks has been dead silent. I mean, tonight he only had 2 receptions for 7 yards. Definitely not good from Allen Robinson. And the defense, I can't really say did all that well either. Bobby Wagner and Aaron Donald are, monsters among men. That everybody else did not really do anything all that interesting. Well, definitely a big game from the Niners. Definitely seemed like they ended up. Jimmy G has not lost a step. I think he kind of needed an extra week to really fall into that offense once again, especially after Trey Lance was getting most of the playing time and practice time and training camp and preseason. So, yeah, that game was definitely pretty good. Alright, let's see what we got next on our list. The METS and BRAVES recap. Alright, well, if you don't know me personally, I am a die-hard METS fan. And this series against the BRAVES was torture. It was insanely hard to watch as a METS fan, and definitely it's incredibly hard to see the division lead and the division itself kind of fall into the BRAVES' hands at this point after taking control for the past year. This whole baseball season with that division lead ended up having a 10.5 game lead at one point. But yeah, as I look through these games, the one thing I'm noticing is that where are Francisco Lindor and Pete Alonso? Those are 2 guys that really need to be in this offense and really need to produce, and just did not really produce, to be honest, and it's a little frustrating. Obviously, Scherzer and DeGrom did not have the best of starts, but that's okay. You know, you can't really focus on, well, we can't really rely on two guys to really carry this team to success. Everybody needs to put together a winning effort, and we just didn't do that tonight, or over the weekend, I meant. The Braves played really, really well. Matt Olson and Dansby Swanson killed us. Thank God that it wasn't Austin Riley, or else I would have pulled my hair out, because he's been killing the Mets all year. My biggest takeaway coming from this is not even anything really from the games itself. It's just more of what I think is going to happen in the postseason now, considering we do not have that extra 3 to 5 days of rest from the wild card series. From what it looks like as of right now, we are going to be playing the San Diego Padres. And the San Diego Padres are an interesting team, especially since Fernando Tatis hasn't really been... Well, Fernando Tatis isn't going to play at all this year, maybe not even play next year because of the PEDs that he's taken. But obviously they've gone out and gotten Juan Soto, Josh Bell, Brandon Drury, all these additions. And it's gonna be interesting because the Mets this year have struggled against Yu Darvish. They've struggled against their pitching staff, and it seems like those bats in San Diego know how to hit against our pitchers. So hopefully we figure it out against the Padres. But then even if we do beat the Padres, we got to play the best team in baseball, the Los Angeles Dodgers. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be a rough road to the World Series, but hey, you gotta believe as a Mets fan, right? You gotta believe. One other thing I would like to bring up about the Mets is that in that series, they did not have Starling Marte. And let me just see if we have an update on Starling Marte, because I know that he's been inactive for almost a month now, or just around there. I mean, he hasn't, as from reports, it's saying that he's dealing with a fractured middle finger, saying that he can't grip a bat, he can't throw a baseball. Buck Showalter even came out and said that he doesn't really know when he's going to be coming back. Obviously, we are hopeful that he'll be back by the postseason, but it seems very likely that he will not be back by the postseason. So that's a big bat to lose in that lineup. One guy who really kills lefties, just a really nice outfield. He plays a really nice outfield and right field, has a strong arm, can get to the ball. What else? I think somebody who's going to have to really step up is Eduardo Escobar. I know he's had a very great month in September. I just really hope that he could take that success that he's had in September and carry it on over into the postseason, because it seems like we're going to need one guy to really be a big bat for us, like how in 2015 we had Daniel Murphy. So it looks like we're going to need somebody like that. We're gonna have to play some really hard baseball in the next coming games. What else do we have on our list? My fantasy football matchup. I'm in a 4-man league with some of my buddies, and as of before this week ended, I was 1-2. I've had really bad luck with benching players who have done really well, and had bad luck also starting players who have done not well at all. Some good examples would be starting Dalvin Cook over Joe Mixon, not starting Michael Pittman. I've had Jalen Waddle on my bench for the longest time. Even this week, I had T.J. Hawkinson on my bench, who ended up scoring 40 points on my bench when I put him in over George Kittle. So George Kittle's 4.4 points are definitely not helping. But I did end up coming out with the win. I ended up beating my one buddy. I beat him 148.9 to 148.76. And just to show you how I'm not bluffing, here is the proof. I don't know if you could see that. Here are our teams. Here are our benches, just to make sure. So yeah, definitely a I really got to start paying attention to who's playing well in fantasy and who isn't playing well in fantasy. Definitely not, definitely not the best at that. Let's see what else we got. I know I've been talking about a bunch of sports so far, but that's not the only thing that I want to be talking about. I do want to talk about other things. So I figured, hey, I might as well try something new, just try something whatever. I am going to make, well, before I say anything, we all know fall is coming around the corner. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are excited. A lot of people are excited for the holidays that come with fall, the lead up to Christmas, the leaves changing, things like that. So I figured, hey, well, I mean, we can make a tier list out of this. So I'm gonna take my top 5 things about fall, and maybe some of you guys in the comments, if anybody watches this, could go ahead and challenge my tier list or agree with my tier list, depending on how you feel. In the number 5 spot, I think I'm gonna have to go with leaves changing. Definitely one of the best parts of fall. I think another great thing is how the. Let me rephrase this. I think that I'm putting leaves at 5 just because they may look very nice and it may look cool to see them falling on a windy day or something like that. But at this household, who has to clean up those leaves? This guy. So definitely not the best. At number 4, I think I'm gonna have to go with the weather. I'm definitely more of a summer guy, but I definitely love wearing extra layers. I definitely love the chillier weather. Yeah, and I think that leads into my number 3, which is hoodies. I love wearing my sweatshirts, my hoodies. I have a bunch of different hoodies that I wear. I got a couple from Hollister. I got a couple METS ones. You know, I love wearing different sets of sweatshirts. Very nice. Number 2, I'm going to have to go. I'm gonna have to go with Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is obviously great, but I think Thanksgiving is just a leeway into Christmas and Black Friday and all those things. So while the food and everything may be great, seeing everybody may be great, I think it's definitely more of a second tier holiday. But definitely a good holiday though. And in my first spot, I was contemplating switching these two around, but my number 1 spot is gonna have to go to Halloween. When I was younger, I used to love Halloween. I used to love dressing up. I used to love getting candy from random strangers. But these days, I don't tend to celebrate. I just tend to give out candy, which I do enjoy. I do like sitting on my porch and giving out candy to kids that walk by the house, you know? So, yeah, there's my fall tier list. Let me know in the comments if you guys agree or disagree. And for one of the final things that I do want to end up talking about, I'm going to talk about whatever is trending on Twitter. Definitely not my best idea, but first episode, so gotta come up with something. Let's see what is trending on Twitter. The first 2 things that are trending I see are Rey Mysterio and Perryman. Now let me just say, I am a very, very big WWE fan. We will definitely hear, you guys will definitely hear me talk about the WWE. It seems like Dominic Mysterio, if you're following along in WWE, he told his father that he hates him. Interesting. Now, while I do appreciate the WWE and what Triple H is doing over there, I will say I just do not have time and do not care to watch SmackDown and Raw. I will just watch recaps online, but I will watch the pay-per-views because that's where all the good stuff happens. So, you know what? How about that? We will do a prediction for Extreme Rules. Let me just search up the card. And let's see what is, and I'll give you my predictions. Okay, for the first match that I'm seeing on this website, we got SmackDown Women's Champion Extreme Rules match between Liv Morgan, who is the champion, versus Ronda Rousey. Definitely really interesting. It seems like Liv Morgan's booking the past couple weeks have seemed to make her more of a legit champion, compared in the past where she has barely beaten Ronda, where the first time she cashed in her Money in the Bank contract, that Money in the Bank, and the second time where she didn't really beat Ronda Rousey. She ended up getting pinned because, Liv Morgan ended up tapping out to Ronda Rousey, but the ref ended up counting it as a 3-count pin for Liv Morgan. So how do I see this going on? Because also, Ronda Rousey is being booked as such a complete monster right now. So I really don't know how to see this. My prediction is going to be Liv Morgan, just because it seems like they're really taking the time to make her seem legit, and they're kind of making her seem making her seem more extreme for this match and this pay-per-view. To me, it would just be a huge waste at this point to have Ronda win back the title. It's not going to do anything for her. It's not going to do anything for Liv. It's only going to hurt her career, if anything. And I would like to actually see Ronda Rousey fight Shayna Baszler in a rivalry, and I think that shouldn't have a title stipulation on that. Okay. For our next match, we have the Raw's Women's Championship ladder match. Bianca Belair versus Bayley. Now, this is an interesting match. Are we going to see Damage Control? Are we going to see Asuka and Alexa Bliss? We don't know. But Bianca Belair, if this was a singles match, I would definitely say Bianca Belair could beat Bayley. But just because Damage Control is such a big problem, I'm actually going to predict Bayley winning this. It just makes too much sense to have Damage Control with the women's tag titles and then Bayley with the Raw women's title. I think Triple H is going for that big faction feel, while Alexa Bliss and Asuka and Bianca Belair, they're not really a faction, so I don't know. Maybe Bayley wins the title and Bianca wins it back in the next couple pay-per-views. Something like that. I don't know. We'll see. But my prediction, Bayley. Bayley will become your new Raw Women's Champion. In our next match, we got a fight pit match between Seth Rollins and Matt Riddle. And I did see this on Instagram, but UFC, for the former UFC heavyweight champion, Daniel Cormier, is going to be a special guest referee. Now that's interesting, because they wouldn't just do that for no reason. I have to imagine Daniel Cormier is going to end up influencing the match some way, somehow. My prediction is going to end up being Matt Riddle. I feel like Matt Riddle needs this win, while Seth Rollins have won the first two matches. I think Riddle should win the last, and then close the book on the rivalry. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a good match. The first two matches that they had were amazing. I don't see this being any different. And it's also the first fight pit match that we're going to see on the main roster, so that should be fun. Next match, we got an I Quit match between Edge and Finn Balor. Now this is interesting because I don't see any of these guys saying I quit. I really don't. The only I want to say Edge is gonna win, but the Judgment Day really need a W. Because the Judgment Day have just been taking L after L after L after L, and they just need to seem legit. I don't see Edge saying I quit. I more or less see the Judgment Day doing something to one of Edge's family members, or maybe to Rey Mysterio, or someone close to him, to make him say I quit, to help them out more than him actually saying I quit. So yeah, my prediction for that is going to be Finn Balor. In our next match, we got a strap match between Drew McIntyre and Karrion Kross. My prediction's Karrion Kross. Drew McIntyre doesn't need this W. He's going to be Karrion Kross's first match on the main card. Definitely no reason to have him lose. Drew McIntyre, for the past couple months, has been built like an insane freak, especially right before he ended up fighting Roman Reigns, so I think him taking a loss here is definitely fine. I do see Karrion Kross needing help from Scarlett somewhat, but it's interesting how they made this a strap match, so we'll see how that goes. And in the last match, we are going to see a good old-fashioned Donnybrook match between the Brawling Brutes and Imperium. Now this is interesting, because it seems as if the Brawling Brutes have become crowd favorites, while before they were heels, and Imperium have become the heels. Very interesting, because obviously at the last pay-per-view, Gunther fought Sheamus for the Intercontinental Championship, and Gunther won. The Brawling Brutes just fought for the unified tag titles, and they lost against the Usos. It almost seems as if they're almost. It almost seems like they're going to split up at some point, if that makes sense. I don't know why I'm getting that vibe. They're getting too many losses. I feel like somebody's gonna turn on somebody. Maybe I don't know. But I will say I do see Imperium beating the Brawling Brutes, and maybe we'll see Sheamus turn heel once again, as he was before, against the tag team that he built. So yeah, those are my Extreme Rules predictions. Definitely an interesting pay-per-view. I appreciate all of the extreme matches that are put on the card, and yeah, it should be a fun pay-per-view. Definitely sad that we don't get to see Roman Reigns, but it's alright. We all know he's not going to lose the title until WrestleMania this year anyway, so that's alright. And, yeah, that might be it for our first podcast on the channel. I guess I could use this to update the channel and to talk about what I plan to do in the future. I plan on uploading this podcast whenever I feel, if it's every couple days, if it's every day, if it's every week, no matter, it doesn't really matter. I only plan to really make these style of videos for right now, especially since I'm in school, I'm working a job. I'm definitely just planning on making pretty chill content. Hopefully some people find this and think that's cool. Some people are going to find this and not think it's cool, but that's alright. And yeah, I think that's it. If anybody is watching this, please comment down below what you think the name of this podcast should be, because I do not know what I should name it. And I'm interested to hear what you guys think that this should be named. Alright, well, please subscribe, hit that like button, please share this to a friend, it would be very much appreciated. I will see you guys soon with another podcast episode. Peace out.